What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It's Wednesday night. We're going to be ripping some drafts. Not a lot to talk about, realistically. We're about a week out from camp opening, I should say. The Chargers are the first for rookies. Rookies report July 12th for the Chargers. They obviously play the Hall of Fame game against the Detroit Lions. So they report first. And actually, the Lions aren't really before anybody, more or less. And then obviously veterans. Some teams actually, rookies and veterans report at the same time on the same day. Sometimes rookies first, then vets. Either way, teams are reporting shortly, like I said, in the next week or so. And then we'll start to get some news. We'll start to get some, clarity over some of these situations, which kind of is partially why we wanted to, go live and talk about it today about, pre-camp strategies, sort of a thing, what we can do, where we can get some value. The Puppy 2 is launched. So I'm sure you saw the thumbnail, when puppy, now puppy 2. If you watch the episode, the last episode, we talked about it. It was pretty much going to be always before this weekend. Made a lot of sense, made the most sense. And then get it rolling before camp opens. It'll fill pretty quickly. It's already, I think, at like 5% or something like that, 6% filled in just a few hours. So people are going to be mass drafting this sucker. I'm probably going to try to get another 50 in. Realistically, I did 50 in the Puppy 1, probably do 50 to 100 in the Puppy 2. And then same thing with the Puppy 3. And we'll see where we go, how we go. Bindle's popping in. GM, what's up, man? Appreciate you popping in here. We're going to jump right into a puppy. We're going to do one of these. The new facelift, I guess, Underdog got. Looks good. I don't mind it. I'm okay with it. Nothing's insanely different. Waiting on, oh no, we're filled. Wow, there we go. No waiting. Doesn't look different at all for the most part. It's pretty consistent. We got the 12 hole. That's all right. Buster Boy's got the goat horns. That's cool. But so we're talking about it earlier. We can get some value here. I'm just going to go with all tournaments, by the way. I've only drafted one puppy. So let's just have all tournaments in here and let's take it from there. But you can definitely get yourself some value if you're right, essentially, is what it kind of boils down to. So I say stick to your priors. I don't think there's any information that's out right now that's going to provide much of any clarity. So stick to your priors, get your guys, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what it is for me. Like realistically, I don't think anything should change until we get some news or like a signing. If Keenan Allen signs before a training camp, which I don't know. I don't know if he will or not, to be honest. We got about a week to find out. So that would obviously change some things if it did happen, but we got about a week to find out. We might have to wait to see if there's an injury in training camp and then kind of take it from there. That might be what triggers a signing for Keenan Allen and maybe Amari Cooper as well, but more likely Keenan Allen before we see Amari Cooper get scooped up. That's just kind of the way I see it. But we'll see. We got Al Boogie, new picture there, new avatar. Appreciate you popping in. Yo. What's up? So we'll see how that goes. But again, it's just, if you're right, then you're going to be really right. That's kind of where we're at. So draft like you're right. Continue down the path. I don't think there needs to be any zigging and zagging here. Like J.K. Dobbins allegedly is the starter. Jerome Ford is allegedly the starter. Like that's, do we really believe any of this stuff? I with the Jerome Ford thing, no, I do not. With J.K. Dobbins, that was relatively expected. At least I thought. So I don't know. I don't know what you want to glean from those little tidbits of information. I don't think there's really much of information there at all personally, but let's do a little, get a little different. Go Achan and Drake London. Let's do that. Let's get a little different at the back end. Just pulling up two guys. They're not far off. Typically someone would take one of these two and the Amon-Ra Brian Thomas kind of faller. So let's bring up two guys and get a tiny bit different, and two players that I like a ton. So two guys that could definitely be ranked in the first round. I have Drake London ranked in the first round, so let's just do that. Not that Amon-Ra or BTJ are bad picks, because they're certainly not. Candyman, what's happening, man? Appreciate you popping in here. My daughter changed it. Can't figure out how to change it back. That's all good. Looks good. Looks good on you. So yeah, again, a little different. Oh, this is way smaller now. That's weird. So now the draft board's way smaller. We can zoom in on that, I guess, but then I'm going to have to zoom out to get out of it. This is kind of annoying. That's not really streamer friendly. I guess this is the way we got to do it. There we go. That's not particularly streamer friendly. That looks a little better though. All right. Little zoomed in. That looks okay. There we go. And then the bright mode, side note, the bright mode on this is blinding. Like, geez, I turned it on just to, I don't know why, just for jokes earlier. And man, it is bright. I don't know how anybody drafts on bright mode, by the way. It is psychopaths is the way I see it. You're a psychopath if you don't draft in dark mode. So back to the original conversation. Draft like we're right. Realistically, that means what? The Jacksonville Jaguars running back situation, definitely. The Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation, which I think everybody admits and is on board and believes that Daniel Jones is going to win that job, which that's the direction that I'm leaning. That's for sure. What else? I mean, outside of injuries, we don't really have much more information. So if you're right, you're going to be very right. Stick to your priors. That's what I'm saying. That's my advice in this time right before training camp. And if you're right, you're going to be very right. Even things like, I know this whole Najee Harris thing coming out about him, like losing an eye, for Christ's sake. Like that seems extreme for us to not have any news on a NFL player losing a fucking eye. Like, I really doubt that that's true. I suppose it's possible. Sure. I just am inclined to not really believe that one personally. Let's do Jaden and Kittle. I want to get different from this Lamar. Like, I'm taking Lamar with this type of a build every time. So let's do Jaden and Kittle. I want to take Jaden Daniels because I don't necessarily love taking as much Penix as I have. I have an absurd amount of Penix with Drake London. But even if I do take Penix, which is still on the board, I like to have that top tier quarterback, which I have, include Jaden Daniels in that conversation. So let's bring in Jaden Daniels. Let's get George Kittle. That opens some things up for us. I don't have enough Kittle either. And again, I'm trying to get a little bit different on the back end here. I don't want to continue to build the same ways. And I really need to do that sort of thing on my Best Ball Manias as well, and just kind of shift my drafting and my strategy a little bit to get a little bit different. I don't mind taking naked Jaden Daniels at all, and then building around another game stack throughout the playoffs. Maybe getting, a bring back somewhere, either Dallas, Philly, Giants, that sort of thing. Get a bring back when it makes sense. And if there's falling value and if there's somebody there, absolutely make it, you can do that. But I just want to get a little bit different, especially when I'm at the turn. I mean, it's especially at the 12. Like, if you're at the 1 spot, you're pretty limited on what you can do realistically. Like, it's Jamar Chase, and then it's like, what are you going to do that is not optimal, to be honest with each other here? Like, if T Higgins is there, and then you take, this sort of build is pretty much what it is. T Higgins, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, right? You could bring in Tyreek Hill in these situations. And I have a few times, they pair up in week 16, Miami, Cincinnati. So you could do that sort of stuff. I guess this is getting a touch different with the Jalen Hurts instead of Joe Burrow. Sure. But realistically, again, you're pretty limited on like the kind of craziness that you can do at the 1 spot. But when you're at the 12, you can really open it up. You can really do some different things. And that's kind of what I'm going to try to do in this draft. It's a $5 puppy. I'm going to try something different and see what I can end up with, essentially. JT, what's up, man? Appreciate you popping in. Miami Cincinnati week 16 is a nice game stack. Definitely. I have a ton of that game. I have a ton of Tyreek Hill. I've been part of the team pushing him up the board. Maybe not quite to the 20 spot, though that is where I will start taking him now, is in the mid second round. Realistically, in a vacuum, give me Tyreek Hill over Ladd McConkey, give me Tyreek Hill over AJ Brown. So I don't know how far up the board I'll start pushing him, but I'm perfectly happy taking just a ton of Tyreek Hill, or continuing to take a ton of Tyreek Hill, right? We'll see what the Buster Boys does here. It takes Jennings. That obviously would have been something I would have liked. Let's just take Rome here. Lock that up. Make it make sense. I don't want to bring up Debo, that's for sure. I mean, maybe I do. Maybe that is something I do, but no. No, I just can't justify it. Let's just take Trevion. Let's take Trevion. Just kind of maximize our spike week potential in the running back room. Mix up ADPs just a little bit. Roam right at ADP. Obviously, I would have taken Jennings if he were there. That would have been a really nice situation. Get you on Jennings, Kittle with Rome Odunze bring back. Then I mix in a little Brock Purdy a little later on in the draft, right? But it is what it is. Still like the build. Very, very, it's very balanced, that's for sure. Where is the draft board? How do I pull up the draft board? Am I missing something here? Oh, there we go. Just scroll down a little bit. This new, the new kind of skin, if you will, is a little odd. Not sure it's exactly streamer friendly, but that's okay. We'll make do. But yeah, definitely a good game stack. Definitely a game stack that I focus on for sure. I'm taking a ton of Waddle, ton of Tyreek, a ton of, obviously, anytime I can get Jamar Chase, taking a bunch of Higgins. I'm definitely focusing on that game for sure in week 16. Flexing on them with the knowledge and the arms. Man, it's just hot, man. It's hot here. And I don't have air conditioning in my house. So it's how she goes. It's how she goes. You got to do it, man. But I appreciate you noticing. I refuse to take the real chalky 1-1 stuff. Also, don't take Burrow at 4-5. Almost I like to pull a later third guy up just to be different. Don't mind that. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Like, who is it that really, I guess, Garrett Wilson at this point, JSN, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, Breece Hall, sure, something like that. I just think that that's like forcing it a little bit. I think there's just so many good options there that are just baked into ADPs that it's hard to not just build that way and just hope you're right, I guess. Like, I don't know. What else could we really do in theory as far as build-wise? Like, sometimes you can get Tampa Bay to fall back at 96, 97 if you can get Baker and Igbuka, and then Godwin goes around up here somewhere, or you can do Otton later. And then if you have Tyreek with Jamar Chase, and let's say it's a mini game stack, Jamar Chase, Trey McBride, and Tyreek Hill. Cool. Then you bring it back with, say, Jameson Williams, Hurts, whatever, something along those lines. A couple running backs, awesome. And then you get a falling Baker with Igbuka. There you go. There's your week 17 game stack with Miami, Tampa Bay. That's a fun one if it can happen, but you can't really plan for that. Did Trevor Lawrence really go at 63 here? Was that an auto? That must have been an oopsie auto draft. So it's just hard to kind of plan ahead, though, is the issue there. Yeah, that was a whoops auto draft, I think, right there. This doesn't scroll down this is kind of weird. This new overlay, I don't know. Or not overlay, but The new Underdog skin. Not sure I love it. Falling value on Jaden Reed. That's a pretty easy click for me, even though it's all my wide receivers are week 5 so far. That's kind of not exactly what I would like, but let's do it. And then I think it's just Igbuka here. Geez, this won't scroll down. Like, this is kind of silly. It's like, I don't know if I'm the only one having these issues, but this like, it won't scroll down on my team. There we go. Silly stuff. The Miami stuff I do like. Mainly, I'm just not that in on Marv and McBride there, and stay away from that game. I'm super high on McBride personally. I'm higher on McBride than I am on Bowers. People like to say like, what's changed? It's only improved for the Raiders. I really disagree with that. That is true. If we're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, nothing's changed for the Arizona Cardinal offense as far as their pass catchers. They drafted an offensive lineman. No, they didn't. They went all defense for the most part. But nothing's really changed as far as the pass catchers. So I love Trey McBride, but I'm still not sold completely on Bowers personally. I think a lot has changed with the Raiders. A lot. I really don't understand why people are saying, oh, nothing's changed. It's only gotten better because Geno Smith comes in. I completely disagree with that. But, to each their own. Doesn't mean I'm right. They're wrong, but that's my opinion on it. I think there's a ton difference personally. Steve, what's happening, man? I didn't end up seeing who won the Jeopardy match between Steve and Neil over there. The final prelim, quarterfinal, bracket setter, whatever you want to call it. The two biggest losers playing against each other. Both of you, I think, probably scored double what I did in my win. So shout out to you guys. But who ended up winning over there? I didn't see it, but appreciate you popping in here. Feels more advantageous to pull someone up later in the summer and try to get stacks that haven't been done all summer. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. It just kind of always has to make sense, right? Like, that's kind of where it is it always has to make sense, regardless of when you're pulling guys up. As long as it makes sense and you can sell it, then I'm on board. Wow. I'm just getting dusted on these quarterbacks right here that I was going to be after. So that's a little frustrating, but that's how she goes. Yeah. Like, it won't let me scroll down. This is really annoying on my team. Okay. I don't know if any other streamers having issues with this, but or maybe it's just me, but this is really kind of pissing me off. It's just like sticking. It's really, really, really annoying. I guess, do I just take Kyler here? Some falling value and just get a couple naked rushing quarterbacks? It's really not the worst idea considering what I'm staring down the barrel of. Could always bring in Drake May, obviously. But some nice falling value on Kyler. I think Huhames was actually talking about it earlier today, about the Jane Daniels Kyler, quarterback room sort of thing. Tough to get. I'm in on that. I like this team. I'm not sure I like this new. Maybe it's because I have it zoomed in a little bit. Let's do that. Let's unzoom it and see if this works. I would have taken Andrews there, but yeah, let's bring in Kyler. I would have taken Andrews to pair with Jaden, and then like I'm really enjoying the start. I might even just take Evan Ingram here because who do I need to take? I guess I could take a wide receiver and bring in Bateman, but it's either Bateman or Evan Ingram. Let's do Bateman, pair him up with Reed. If I'm going to keep pushing tight end all summer, then that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's unzoom it. Feels more advantageous to pull someone up later in the summer and try to get stacks that haven't been done all summer, right? Yeah, I mean, if it makes sense, again, like if we see something happening, like I was talking about it last episode, one that I thought would be super chalky that we haven't seen is Nico and Lad. I thought that was going to be a super chalky 1-2 start, right? And it just has not been. Lad continues to stay in kind of purgatory here, and Nico has fallen down to the back end of the first. So they just don't go around each other too often. I was going to do that here. If Nico was there at 12, I was going to do that and make it happen. But that's something that I'm going to start doing and just pulling it up, especially to like, the 12, 11 or 12 for sure. If Nico's still on the board, then I'll take him and Lad just to get some of those pairings for week 17 and then figure it out, kind of after. But that's one that I thought was going to be more chalky than it is, and it's really not. The other one that's not chalky that I've been doing a ton on this show, so if you watch a lot, I've been doing it, is the CMC Jonathan Taylor week 16 matchup that I've been making happen quite a bit. Even the neighbors Brock Bowers is not as chalky as you would think. So those are kind of the ones that I'm kind of looking at right now. And as we get deeper into draft season where it doesn't seem like people are doing it, especially when I thought they would be, but we'll see how it goes. Well, I'm not going to try to change your mind. Yeah, we need to stop trying to change each other's mind. I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting way to go. It's just like it's set up just too nicely from the 1 spot. Whereas at the other end of the draft at the 12 spot, the world's your oyster. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, let's just say it was brutal. Neil won. Hey, ouch. I watched about the first half and you guys probably got 2 questions right. So it was pretty slow going for you guys, but that hurts. I was rooting for you. I thought you'd win, Steve. I was rooting for you there. Almost 200 receiving 2K yards and 5 touchdowns in 2 years. My out on McBride is a Kyler thing. I know TDs aren't sticky either way, but I have a theory why it might be with him. Almost 200 receptions, 2K yards, and 5 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but like, if we're wrong about that relatively minute difference, which is touchdowns, and the targets were there, so it's not like he's not being targeted in the red zone, because he most certainly was. If he does go off, he's going to be an absolute smash. So I'd rather take the I mean, what's the bear case, or what's the kind of floor, I suppose? Like, what happens if you're wrong? You still get, 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, 100 catches. You know what I mean? Like, I think the bear case on Bowers is much stronger than it is on McBride. I think that this could legitimately go down to like 800 yards maybe. We're going to do Spears here. Let's talk through it and then we'll get back to it. We're going to go Spears, obviously. That's someone that I really like in this range. And then Kyle Williams is always fun. He's my guy. Let's take a shot on Bayshall too, and then just say like we're going for the ultimate upside in this running back room. This is just home run city in this running back room. So let's lean in on that then. So yeah, I mean, if we're wrong about the touchdowns, and we do know that it's not sticky in that way, and he has been getting targeted. So if that balloons to like 8, that's a massive difference in points. Massive, massive difference. Obviously, I'm not breaking any news to you, but again, and then if you're wrong, how wrong are you? Like, I think for Bowers, his bear case is much scarier than McBride's. I really do. I think this could go down to say 800 yards and this could stay at 5. That happens. Bowers is undraftable in the second round. That's for damn sure. Right. So stays at 5 touchdowns and this goes down to 800 and some odd yards. And still let's even say it's still 90 catches. 90 catches, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. Would anybody be blown away shocked if Brock Bowers goes down to those levels? I wouldn't personally. And if you would, then draft him. I am drafting him a little bit, but not nearly as much as others. I'm below the field, and I will be below the field on Brock Bowers. That's for sure. And then with McBride, I will be above the field most likely. Yeah, 12% on McBride, 6% on Bowers. That makes tons of sense. If the field is 8, which roughly it is, then yeah, that makes sense to me on, as far as my take goes. So I'm going to continue down that path just because I think the range of outcomes are larger for Bowers than they are for McBride. And if we're wrong on McBride, then we're even Steven. We're not falling at all. And he basically scored the same overall points essentially as Brock Bowers. So to me, it's a case of McBride over Bowers, especially at cost. And the range of outcomes are, relatively the same, but the bear case, the negative connotation here for Bowers is stronger than it is for McBride, in my opinion. So I don't know. That was a long-winded way of going around in circles, but hopefully it makes some sense. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do? I need wide receiver, obviously. I am still trying to get like somewhat unique in places where it makes some sense. If I could bring guys up and make it make sense, then I will. I'm done at quarterback for sure. It's not likely. It's not Smith. It's not Pitts. I could go Eckler, obviously, get a little bit of team stack, but I actually don't want to do that. I probably would have taken either Besh or Bryant, so that's kind of annoying. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I guess we go Pitts and just team stack, double bring back on the Arizona side. I've got Tampa Bay piece as well against Atlanta. So let's do Pitts, and we're going to be done at tight end there too. I don't really like any of these spots particularly. So let's pull up Braylon Allen. I think that makes some sense. I could stop at 5 here, which I might just do. Not super in love with this wide receiver room. So mind you, this is pretty soft ass as well for as far as my running back room is concerned, but we'll see who comes back to us. I'm definitely done at quarterback and tight end, so I can just kind of push it and see what happens here. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't get why Ladd doesn't get pulled up more. Yeah, it's a weird one. I thought, you were on the episode when we did the schedule release talk, and we were all, in agreement that would probably be a chalk start. And it just hasn't happened. We're July, middle of July, almost July 9th today. And it just has not happened. Not even in like puppies or other ancillary contests, poodles, schnauzers. We don't really see that at all across the board, let alone Best Ball Mania. And we're 33, roughly a third of the way through Best Ball Mania, and we're still not seeing it. So, obviously, maybe it is, and it's just not happening in my rooms, but I really don't think so. Of all the drafts that I've been doing, I'm over 200 now in regular one quarterback. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys are seeing it, then let me know, but it's just not happening. And that was one that we talked about, and it all agreed that it would become a chalk 1-2 start. And it's just not happening. So I'm going to start clicking it then just to get some exposure to that week 17 matchup. I don't necessarily like, honestly, either of the players. Like realistically, let's look at my exposures to both of them because it's not high. I don't think I've drafted Nico Collins in 49 Best Ball Manias at all yet. 2.5% Nico Collins, and Ladd a little bit more, 5%, right? So both definitely below the field on both players. My player take on both of them is not extremely strong at their costs. But again, if no one's doing it, I'm going to get a couple shares, at least like 3 or 4 options of that start in Best Ball Mania moving forward. Again, especially if I'm at the 12 spot where you can do a lot of different things. And it doesn't seem like people are doing it because there's so much value down there, which again, I understand it. There's Devon Achan and Drake London that aren't even first round picks that people are doing this sort of a start with. Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas Jr. in the second, even Derrick Henry right there. There's a lot of value at the back end of the 1-2 turn, and you can go any which way. So it feels kind of dirty to not just take those guys. I wouldn't include Ladd in that conversation. I would include Nico, but I wouldn't include Ladd McConkey. So it's difficult to do. I get it. I'm right there with you. But again, if it's a really low owned, high upside week 17 matchup, then give me some exposure to that is kind of where I'm at on it. So we're going to be hammering wide receiver. I need 3 more for sure. 2, 6, 8, 2 most likely. Most likely going to be our build. If McMillan's there, I might just take him. I might just take him as a double, bring back on this Tampa Bay, Atlanta double team stack sort of thing. And I like all of those pieces in the Atlanta. He's gone anyways. Okay. Good conversation. Good talk, guys. That was a good talk. Let's do, I haven't picked Dante Thornton once. Let's take him. Let's have some fun. It's a puppy. And then we'll bring in Slayton, little week 17 matchup. Slayton helps with our Washington. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. You can make the case that he projects similar to BTJ, London, etc. Yeah, absolutely. Agree with that. DQ, what's happening, man? Appreciate you popping in. I'm low on them because Kittle was in the 5th round. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? I think Trey Harris is going to take some work from Ladd. Still like his ADP though. I don't think that. I think Trey Harris would take everything away from Mike Williams and some away from Quentin Johnston. I personally think that Trey Harris is like 100% outside X wide receiver. That's his role. That's what he's going to be in the NFL. That's what he was in college, in my opinion. I like Trey Harris a lot. I liked him more than most as a prospect. I don't see him taken away from Ladd a super ton. It's just that we know it's going to be a run heavy offense. And they have a fantastic defense. So they're going to be in every game. They're going to be able to run in every game. There's not many game scripts for the Chargers where they're going to be, balling out, just chucking the ball 40 times a game. It's just not going to happen. It's not in the cards. It's not in the game script. So that's my, bear case against all of that offense realistically, except for the running backs, which I need to get more, Hampton personally, and I will, but I was kind of waiting to see what would happen to his price, but I think it's just settled and that's where he's going to go. And it might even go up. So realistically, I should start clicking Hampton right now. But I don't think Trey Harris would take from Ladd McConkey personally, but he could. I still like his ADP. You like Ladd's ADP or you like Trey Harris's ADP? I hate Ladd's ADP, but I don't mind where Trey Harris goes. It's just in an odd spot, to be honest. And he kind of gets pulled up because there's no other wide receivers in that area. Ladd will be Ladd. No work leaving him. Yeah, for the most part. Like, he's the most safe option in the, as a pass catcher. I take a lot of QJ because I still believe in him. And he does have that's pretty much his floor, I think. Possibly it's a ceiling too, but I think what he did last year is probably his floor, we'll say. At least I hope it's his floor or close to it, but we'll kind of take it from there. So I don't mind clicking QJ. I don't mind clicking Trey Harris, but I definitely don't like stacking the Chargers pass catchers with Herbert. I don't think Herbert's a wonderful click. But again, if I'm doing this Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey thing, I'm going to have to get some Justin Herbert because I definitely don't have a ton Where are we at right now? 4%. Yeah, not a ton of Justin Herbert, that's for sure. So we'll see where it goes. It's one of these two running backs. I'm massive Brashard Smith, 31%. He's my highest exposed player, period. So big Brashard Smith guy. Let's do that. And again, buy in that this running back room is just full of absolute, game wreckers. And then let's do Turpin. Because I'm taking 8 wide receivers, he's not going to be drafted much in this tournament because it's somewhat time boxed. It's a bring back to my Washington. And I don't think if he does get suspended, I don't really care. It'll be like 2 games. I don't really care. If I still believe in the ceiling upside of Turpin, then I have to continue to draft him. At least some like 2%, 2-3%. So, but this is somewhat of a time box tournament, the Puppy 2. It's going to fill in like, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks maximum it'll fill. So we're not going to see Turpin get drafted a lot. So let's buy in on that a little bit. And this is just like the ultimate, like, I guess I got, except for Braylon Allen, who's just my hopefully fall into the end zone kind of a guy. But this is the ultimate just home run wide running back room. That's fun. And then Jaden Daniels, Kyler, I like that. London, Odunze, Reed, Igbuka, Bateman, Thornton, Slayton, Turpin. This would be like a fun weekly winners, if I'm being honest. There's a lot of high-end potential here. Kittle, one of the highest, tight end producers. Like the top end, point potential for this team is pretty fucking high. If you ask me, it's pretty high. Daniels and Murray, this running back room with all these home run hitters, obviously things would have to fall right, week in, week out sort of thing. But I don't mind it. It's a fun team. It's a puppy. We can do things differently. That's kind of what I wanted to do. And again, I'm betting on a few things. Obviously, I'm betting on Thornton in this one. I'm betting on Turpin being the slot receiver. I'm betting on Slayton being the outside wide receiver. I'm betting on Igbuka being the wide receiver 3 for this team. I'm betting on Jaden Reed being the wide receiver 1 on this team. I'm betting on Roma Dunze being the wide receiver 1 on this team. Like, I'm betting on a lot of things here. So that's kind of what I want to be doing right now, especially in this time box tournament, right? Like, I do want to do stuff not quite like this in Best Ball Mania, but I do want to draft like I'm right. So if I think Bashal Tune's going to be the starter in Jacksonville, or at least be the guy that you want or need in that offense, then I'm going to keep drafting him. And I think he's falling right now, I believe, in drafts. So if you can get him at a discount and it fits your narrative, fits your take, then I suggest you kind of jump all over it. But let's jump into another puppy. We might even get in 3 tonight, but let's do a puppy, 20-second, jumping in, waiting on 5. But they're going to run that damn ball, you betcha, man. They're going to run. And again, the defense is going to play in to the game script. They're the number 1 defense in the NFL last year, and it only got better realistically. So I just don't think there's going to be many, if any, opportunities for that team to just run and gun. You know what I mean? This is not going to happen. So on the DK data, Collins led is 6%, apparently. Not 1-to-1, but it's a data point. Definitely. That's good to know. Paulino 89, appreciate you popping in with that little nugget. I like that. Yeah. So they're not releasing the data for Underdog, which they absolutely shouldn't. I don't like that DK is doing it at all, especially when they started doing it, like, again, a third of the way through the contest, or however much through the contest they are. I really don't like that they did that, but it is what it is. So I hope Underdog does not, and I don't assume that they will, but this is a great data point. And again, you're right. It's not a 1-to-1, but it's as close as we can get. So 6% sounds good to me. That sounds highly leveraged, right? So yeah, don't mind that. We got UCF Jaguar in here at the 1 spot, drawing the 1-1, and then a lot of unbadged, lot of badgeless in here. So that's a little concerning. We'll see how this goes. Should be interesting. Bowers and McBride convo. Oh, okay, gotcha. With Kittle. I gotcha. Herbert is elite. Stop playing. I mean, Antwall, appreciate you popping in. Is he elite? I think he gets anointed this label of elite when we really haven't seen it yet. So, I mean, we can say he's elite. Let's go neighbors. Let's bring in neighbors. We could just say he's elite, sure, but has he shown it? Is he? Has he won anything? Does that look elite? Yeah, 4 years ago. Okay, sure. We can get on board with that conversation. But the last 3 seasons, we're saying Justin Herbert's elite? I don't know, man. I think he gets labeled elite very, very frivolously. You could say unjustifiably. But I mean, he is a good player. Don't get me wrong. And if I'm starting a team in the NFL, I would put Justin Herbert pretty high on my shopping list. If it was a real NFL franchise, he would be relatively high on the list. But for fantasy, is he elite? I don't know, man. I don't know. Putt Daddy, what's happening, man? Appreciate you popping in. Badgeless Room, get you QBs? Yeah, probably. We'll see how it goes. Dark Side thinks Herbert's elite as well. I mean, fantasy-wise? Are we talking fantasy-wise or real life? Are those two different conversations? I don't know. Good luck with the badges. They've been killing me today. Yeah, they typically do. Get your QBs like DQ said. Don't try to push anything. Don't try to get cute. This is a fun start. Puka London. CMC Lad. Let's do Bowers. Let's do it. I want to get some exposure to it. Neighbors Bowers. We're not seeing it a crazy amount. And I'm getting it a little different, sort of. Like you're going to have to pull up one of them. Pull up Bowers Neighbors just a couple picks. Bowers potentially a couple picks to CLV. And let's get that week 17 matchup and see where it goes from here. Herbert is what people want Trevor Lawrence to be. Again, real life or fantasy? Real life, we can have that conversation. In real life. But if you're telling me he's elite as a fantasy asset, I'm going to absolutely disagree with you. If I didn't say that, outright a few minutes ago, that's what I was getting at. He's absolutely not an elite fantasy asset. That's for damn sure. If we're talking about real life, I'll have that conversation with you. But let's go 2 TDs from each. Win the money. There you go. DQ, are you in this are you in this draft or what's going on? Oh, from Neighbors and Bowers, you're saying. That's right. Let's do it. Let's win all the money. 100K up top. If I had a limited bankroll, which I do have a limited bankroll, don't get me wrong, but if I wasn't maxing Best Ball Mania, I would be maxing these puppies. You bet your ass on that. That would be my focus for sure. So these puppies are great. They're great tournaments. There goes the first quarterback, and it's Jalen Hurts. Interesting. Pairs him up with A.J. Brown. I think you probably could have waited to 44, pal, but hey, push somebody down to me. I don't mind that. Chase Brown, get a little different. Yeah, some falling value. I don't take a lot of Chase Brown. I mean, let's buy in on this. Let's go Terry McLaurin with the Neighbors. Pairs up weeks 15. Let's do that. Let's lean in. Let's lean in a little bit. It's not necessarily unique, and most likely Jaden Daniels doesn't fall back to me, but maybe he does. If he does, I click him, obviously. If he doesn't, not a big deal. I want to get some mini stacks here and kind of see where this goes. I can only do DK. I don't live in an underdog state. That sucks, man. That sucks. I do not ever want to draft on DK. I haven't. If it, let's say I have a big win on Underdog, which is hopefully going to happen this year. If I have a big win on Underdog, I would play some high stakes stuff on DK. That's it. I probably would not. Maybe I would, depending. I mean, if I win Best Ball Mania, then yeah, I'll max out their Millie Maker on DK as well, because I'll have the bankroll and I'll want to hit that big bank again. So yeah, I definitely would. But if I have just like a nice win on Underdog, then I would just play some high stakes stuff on DK. But I don't play on DK at all, and I don't plan on it. So just not my. It's not my cup of tea over there. But it's just different too, as far as the drafting and ranking and who's a viable pick, who's not, and just the chaos that is DraftKings over there. So Daniels comes back to us. That's very fun. That's very, very fun. Let's do it. Let's do that. That's very, very fun. It's a fun start. Jane Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Terry McLaurin, Brock Bowers. Ship all the money. Let's go. In real life, he's starting to be a great fantasy pick if he keeps the rushing upside. Yeah, if he like, so what does he kind of have to do rushing upside wise to get there? Realistically, it's not necessarily in the yards. It's obviously in the touchdowns. So it's not like he has to get double digits or anything. He doesn't have to get up to like 10, 12, 15, like Josh Allen touchdown wise. But realistically, like he needs, if we're talking about elite, he's going to have to get into like the 350 plus minimum club as far as overall points minimum. He's going to have to get there. Like Jalen Hurts was at like, yeah, not even 320. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be wrong. 320 last year and only 370, 384, right? Like elite is 400 fantasy points, which Herbert did like once upon a time, but that was, once upon a time. So if we're talking elite, like he's got to be up to the 370, 400 mark. So to get there, he's going to have to get in the end zone a heck of a lot more on his legs on the rushing side, or get up to 30 passing touchdowns. And like if he's 30 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, probably gets in there. Does he do that? I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not trying to shit on Justin Herbert over here. I'm just calling it like I see it, man. And I think he just gets like labeled elite because everybody likes him as a player. And yeah, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but it's just, I just can't sit here and say he's an elite quarterback fantasy wise. Maybe in real life. Again, in real life, we can have that conversation, but there's 2 different games we're talking about here. Do I bring in Zay here or Kenny Walker? I think makes more sense. Let's go Kenny Walker. I wouldn't mind Waddle, but I think I need to get myself a good running back start. Zay Flowers is a good click too, but that's okay. Saying great at value, that's fair. If you give Burrow kinds of returns at his ADP, that's a great pick, almost elite. Yeah, I think Burrow is elite. I think he is. So, like, he could have a better year than he had last year, and that was 380 points. He's elite. So, yeah, if he gets that up to the 5 rushing touchdowns he had a couple years ago, before the big injury, then yeah, he's definitely elite. More than Hurts. I have Burrow ranked ahead of Hurts personally. So, but yeah, you're not wrong for his cost for sure. Like. But again, he's going to have to get in the end zone. Like Jordan Love is thrown for 30 touchdowns. We've seen it, and rushed for 4. So 32 touchdowns, 4 rushing TDs. That's still only 330 fantasy points. Is that elite? I don't think it's elite. But again, for cost, like you're saying, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that for cost. Same with Goff. Yeah, he's right where he should be as far as if we're talking like where he should be going. Is there value there? I don't think so. I think that's right where he should be going. Like the guys around him could do the same thing as far as points are concerned, right? So there you go. Yeah, Homer, but tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, boys. You tell me Joe Burrow's not a 370 point quarterback. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. What are we doing here? It's probably going to be Olave. I think he's got the highest upside case here in this kind of range. So let's go Olave. Then brings in like a Carolina piece would make some sense. We've got Olave, Kenny Walker. Carolina piece makes some sense somewhere in this build. Dallas makes sense, obviously. Pair up with our Jaden Daniels here. Sun's out, guns out in Alberta. It's hot, man. It's hot. It's getting up to like 30 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know, high 80s, I think, for you guys down there, which is, and it's like a dry heat. It's hot, man. It's hot. Got my fan going right here beside me. Yeah, trying to stay cool out here. My college baseball team. It's a college baseball team I played for. KPU Eagles. That's what's up. I'm betting Jalen every time personally. Most people are, obviously, with the ADP. Most people are. But I can see people liking Burrow more in fantasy. I mean, yeah, most people are betting Jalen Hurts. Everyone's saying, like, push Joe Burrow. Like, he's a pocket passer, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit if he's a pocket passer, rushing quarterback. I don't give a shit who you are. How many fantasy points are you going to give me? Like, look at the defense. Look at the rest of the conversation here. Like the Cincinnati Bengal defense, we can all agree is pretty sus. Pretty fucking sus. So what is different from last year? We know what Joe Burrow can be. So yeah, man, like give me Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts 1-to-1 in a vacuum, especially at ADP. It's not even a conversation for me. Not even a conversation. But I'm very, very somewhat on an island on that one, which is fine. Which is very fine. Let's continue to lean in on the upside then. Let's just take Golden here and continue to lean into this upside case, this upside conversation. A lot of home run hitters in our wide receiver room so far. And let's lean into that. Makes sense for our squad. I like it. We're definitely balanced. But if I continue to think that there's value at running back and tight end and other positions than wide receiver, then I have to fill up my wide receiver room here. So we're going to do that a little bit. Didn't know you played college baseball. That's dope. Yeah, man. 2 years, not a long career, but played 2 years. Is what brought me to the city I live in now. So yeah, a couple of years college baseball. It was good. Hey, Cody, agree on Burrow top 5 QB when he's healthy. Meg, appreciate you popping in. Yeah, that's I don't know why it's a hot take that like naked, not necessarily naked Joe Burrow, but like Joe Burrow. Let's look at it this way. There's a conversation. Pat at the Fantasy Dog Pound, shout out. He always likes to talk about like weekly winners or like battle royales. You can win that with a naked Goff. It's happened before. Naked Jared Goff. It's happened before. It could happen again for sure. Same situation is available with Joe Burrow. I think that situation will be on the table this year for Joe Burrow in battle royales, in weekly winners. When I draft weekly winners, I draft one quarterback most of the time. I draft one quarterback if I have an elite. So if I have Lamar, if I have Josh Allen, if I have Jaden Daniels, if I have Hurts, if I have Burrow, I only take that quarterback, and that is it. I'm just leaning in that they're going to give me at least a couple of QB1 or at least top 3 QB weeks throughout this season. Should have been prepared for my pick. We're kind of not. Let's go. Let's go Jaden Higgins here over Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney maybe is the correct click, but I really like Jaden Higgins in this range. I really like Jaden Higgins. He's just a lot of fun for me. Does pair up with the little Brock Bowers action there, so that's cool. That's fun. Maybe we lean in on Justin Herbert. You know? You can't win naked pocket passer. Again, it's happened before. It has happened in battle royales, which you have to be basically perfect. It has happened, and it can and will happen again. So you absolutely can, for sure. So I am bringing in some, like, I don't really care in weekly winners if I get T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. I'll take Joe Burrow. I don't give a shit. Like, I will take him, and then I'll bring in Gesicki and Yoshi Voss if I want to or have to or whatever in weekly winners or in battle royale. Well, not battle royales unless you know down the line. That's a different conversation. But in weekly winners, I'll take naked Joe Burrow, and that'll be my only quarterback, and then I'll figure it out from there. You're telling me Joe Burrow can't throw 2 touchdowns to Gesicki, 1 to Jamar Chase, 1 to some random, and run 1 in or something along those lines, run in if he runs in a touchdown and throws 3 or 4, whatever, he's in a good spot. If it all gets consolidated with 1 wide receiver, yeah, I get it. You're going to need it. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that Joe Burrow can't win a weekly winners naked, I strongly disagree with you. I think Jaylen Warren's the click here, if he's there. Maybe he's the correct click, but it might not be the way I go. Yeah, it's Trey Harris. It's got to be Trey Harris here. But Jaylen Warren's probably the correct click. That's okay. We're gonna do this Houston Chargers thing as our QB2. I like that. I'm gonna have to catch up at running back somewhere, but we'll figure it out. Now I'm really glad I took Kenny Walker there. You see it happen in DFS recently too. Not one-to-one, but comparable. Exactly. Yeah, DFS, battle royales, shit like that. It happens all the time. Like, all they have to do is run in a touchdown, which Joe Burrow can absolutely do, and throw 1 touchdown to some random backup tight end, running back, whatever, wide receiver 3, 4, whatever it is. That's all it takes. And then as long as they don't throw 3 other touchdowns to Jamar Chase or something, voila, like, there you go. It's really not that out of pocket to say. And I mean, again, if we disagree, we disagree. That's fine. But I really don't think I'm like breaking any boundaries here by saying that. Like, we've seen it in the past, we'll see it again. So there you go. DK Millie winner last year was naked Goff somehow. So if you're telling me I'm wrong, then you're gonna have to bring a better case than you're wrong. But whatever. we can move on. We can move on from that conversation. It's not gonna be Scadaboo, Harris, or Charbonnet. Don't really love this, but I think it makes some sense. Let's just take Jaylen Warren here. That's fun. With Bowers and Warren winning the tight end room, that's for sure. Let's do that. Herbert goes before. Wow. That would have been my click if he were still on the board. Okay. That's okay. This guy thinks Herbert is elite, I guess. That's got to be the lab drafter. Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's not the end of the world. I mean, we have Jaden, so we can do a lot of different things. We're definitely done at tight end. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. I mean, maybe like Ramondre was the click there. Najee could have been the way to go, but no, I don't like that. Charbonnet. No. I mean, I guess that could have been the correct click. Charbonnet actually just lock up that Seattle running back room in a 6 running back room build, maybe 7. 7 might actually make some sense, but we'll come back to that conversation. Steve got 4th in big board with Naked Baker, and that final size is close to BBM. Definitely. There you go. More examples rolling in. QB throw 4 touchdowns or throw 3 and rush 1. There you go. More examples. Naked Goff, more examples. Yeah. And no, I don't count Monty as a stack partner. No, I don't either with Goff. I definitely do not either. So yeah, more examples are rolling in. So again, I'll need a better case than you're wrong, Cody. They can't do it. You're wrong. I'll need a better argument than that. If that's the conversation we're going to have. Wow. Let's just do Stroud. If I can get him in, I do. Okay, let's just do Stroud. I don't need the double stack. I don't need it. Houston bring back with Bowers. I mean, it'd be nice if Christian Kirk was still there, but I highly doubt it. I didn't want to push Stroud because the Nico drafter only has Lamar. I mean, he could be going for Geno, I suppose. But realistically, I mean, I guess Tua as well, but he's got two selections here to take CJ Stroud on us. So let's just lock it in. I mean, I would love it if Christian Kirk would fall back to me. I highly, highly, highly doubt that happens, but that'd be really cool if it did. And I'm not taking, I mean, Jalen Noel's still on the board for us, I suppose. Maybe this is a Woody Marks, fun little Woody Marks pick here. I'm done at 2 quarterbacks. I'm done at 2 tight ends, so that's fun. I have a strong wide receiver room. Well, maybe there's a little bit of 3 rookies. It's a little thin. That's a little thin. I might have to go with 8 wide receivers and just 6 running backs, which is fine. That's still fine when I've got Kenny Walker here. Oh, maybe he will. That'd be really swell if Christian Kirk is there. And he is. All right. That is fun. What a massive discount on Christian Kirk. Big shout out by Justin Herzig and his Fantasy Football in 60, the newsletter that Justin Herzig puts out on a weekly basis. I subscribe to that because why would you not? I recommend you go and subscribe to that. It's a daily, I think it's daily newsletter, just a little snippet of all of the most recent information. I like it. And Christian Kirk was in there today. So there you go. Worked out for my team. This is fun. This is a fun build. That really helps. Not necessarily my running back room, still pretty thin. I still don't even know if I can stop at 7 wide receivers here, though. I just think that's a really, I mean, do I just lean in on that and say, I mean, at least one of these guys would have to not necessarily smash, but really hit. At least one of these rookies would have to really hit. And that's, I mean, it's asking a little bit. Rachaad White would have been really fun there. Algier, I guess, is the click. Over Garendo for me personally. So let's go with Algier. And over Eckler. Do I just take Eckler? I just take Eckler here. That's the correct way to go about this. Let's take Austin Eckler. Pairs up with Jaden Daniels, obviously. So let's do that. Should have a higher floor for sure. If all things remain the same, no injury, then should potentially have a higher ceiling as well. It's really close, but let's do that. Let's do that. Extreme hero build. Let's land the RBs now. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Have to lean into Olave. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is what, and one of these guys, it's leaning into Olave being healthy and having that upside that we hope he has and hope he's going to be. And then one of these rookies kind of has to be a guy. Like one of them has to be 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. One of them has to do that for me to stop at 7. And that's asking a lot to me of these 3. I think that's asking a lot. I think I'm going to just try to get kind of as much upside as I can. I would have liked Jalen Wright in this running back room. But he goes. So it's Algier. That's helpful. That's helpful. I won't take my 8th wide receiver until I'm a lot happier with my running back room. I don't yes, I'm going to take 6 running backs, and bye weeks don't necessarily matter, but I want to make sure that I get the highest point possibility out of my running back room when it's this thin. So I am going to be a little cognizant of bye weeks. And I think we can make it work. We'll need some injury contingent guys, and we'll need an injury to happen. I mean, maybe not. If Kenny Walker's that guy, then we should be fine. He would have to be, a top kind of, 8 running back to just carry top 10, let's say, to carry this running back room. And is he a top 10? I mean, the potential is definitely there, but is he going to be? I don't know. I'm not gonna bet too much on that. So we'll see how this kind of plays out. Let's see if we can land this plane a little bit. Yeah, we can kind of punt our final wide receiver for a while. We obviously, it's not a massive concern. It's just another guy to give us a few spike weeks or a high floor wide receiver. It's not the end of the world who I get there. So it's probably either Dowdle or Shipley would have been the other click. So I guess it's going to be Dowdle. Gives me that Carolina piece that I was kind of looking for as well. So that's nice. Pairs up with Olave. Gives us a couple bringbacks for Carolina. So let's go Dowdle. He's just kind of the next man up. I'm not taking Miles Sanders. I'm just not doing it. You can't make me. So let's see where this goes. I don't mind this team. Really, I think we can get there. I really do. It's fun. Obviously, the running back room is super thin, but I think we can make it work. It relies on Kenny Walker being a guy. It really does. Should I have taken Kamara? Maybe, but then I wouldn't have taken Olave. And then what do I do? I don't know. I don't know who I take there. Addison. Don't really love that click. Harvey, don't love that click. Yeah, so I'm happy with the way this fell and the way this has gone. I like this team. I definitely like this team. It's a fun one. DJ Giddens was definitely at the top of my list. I'm a massive DJ Giddens. Actually, he might be my highest owned player. It's either Giddens or Brashard Smith, and they're 1-2. So whichever one is 1, the other guy's 2. But those are 2 guys that I'm heavily leaned in on. Let's do no, not Slayton. Let's do Michael Wilson. Pairs up with our Houston. So that's fun. We're double stack Houston. And now I've got Houston stacked right up. And that's what I like to do when I'm taking a borderline naked Jaden Daniels. Is Jaden Daniels going to get me there, right? He's going to advance this team. And then in the playoffs, it's Houston. So Dome every week feels good. I don't love that they have such a good defense because I really think maybe an injury happens on the back end. I'm not wishing that for the Houston Texans, but maybe there's an injury and their defense isn't as good as it looks on paper right now. But the Dome game thing really helps. And I've got a bring back and a relatively prominent piece. Well, not necessarily Michael Wilson, but I think this makes sense. It just wasn't there wasn't a running back there that I really felt like I needed. Brashard Smith would have been the guy that I brought up, but that feels pretty rich. So UCF Jaguar takes him. That kind of hurts. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be Jarquez Hunter here. And then I think Jerome Ford makes the most sense. almost for sure is the way we're going to go about that one. I think that is going to make the most sense. So let's go Jarquez. And then we'll hope that Jerome Ford makes it back to us and he'll be our final click. So, I mean, Algier can pop up sometimes without injury. Rico Dowdle can pop up sometimes without injury. Eckler is going to show up a lot in this lineup, realistically. Jarquez is going to need an injury to happen. And then whoever my last click is probably going to need an injury to happen as well. I mean, if it's Ford, and hopefully it is Jerome Ford, then he's going to pop up sometimes into my lineup. And then Kenny Walker's got to be in there week in, week out, and he's got to average at least 10 to 15, like 13, 12 and a half fantasy points per week, something like that. Nothing too ridiculously crazy. He's just got to show up in my lineup most weeks. But this is a fun lineup. This is a fun team. Obviously, my running backs aren't going to get me there, but they could be just good enough. I don't know if maybe I should have went with some more like home run hitter types. I guess Keaton Mitchell could be that guy. It's one of these two for me that could be that kind of home run hitter type. And we'll just kind of see how it shakes out. Yeah. I like the build, though. Structurally, it's really nice. It's just super light at running back, obviously. So, if I can advance out of this pod, though, chances are things went well. So, do I go Jerome Ford or Keaton Mitchell? Let's do Jerome Ford. Gives me a higher floor. Hopefully he can carry me early in the season until there's an injury that happens that propels one of these guys up a little bit. Hopefully it's Jarquez for Kyron, you know. Yeah, that's kind of what we have to lean in on here. 2682, Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud. We got Kenneth Walker III, Austin Eckler, Tyler Algier, Rico Dowdle, Jarquez Hunter, Jerome Ford. We got Malik Neighbors, Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, Christian Kirk, massive value on Kirk, Michael Wilson, Brock Bowers, and Tyler Warren. And that tight end room is really fun. The wide receiver room is really fun. The quarterback room is really nice. It's just obviously this running back room. So it is what it is. But yeah, if we can advance this team, I really like it. It's really fun. It's really fun with the double stack Houston and the bring back, weeks 15, 16, 17. That's a fun time. I like this one. It's different. Let's do one more. We'll do one more because it's, why not? It's fun. Let's do it. Drafting's fun. Best Ball Mania, 22nd. By Best Ball Mania, I mean Puppy 2. We're doing a Puppy 2. We're full. Sorry if you're trying to jump in. My apologies. These fill fast. But we're in. We're drafting again. Don't know anybody in here. So that's interesting. Apologies if you tried to get in, guys. It filled insty. We got the 5 spot. Still haven't put in my my Puppy 2 exposures yet. Like my for the separate my tournament exposures. I'm not going to worry about it until I get at least like 20 in, something like that, and then we'll even out exposures from there. I'll probably get like 50 of this Puppy 2 in, something like that. We'll see. Like the idea of the team. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I like the idea of this team being good. We'll see. But yeah, not too worried about my exposures just yet. That's for sure. Do I want to bring somebody up here? I don't think it makes a lot of sense to. It'll be one of the top 6, whoever's there. CD would be fun. I'll take Barkley. Wow, get my pick of the litter, eh? Let's take Barkley at 5 because you won't get him too often at 5 or 6. We'll see. CeeDee Lamb might flip him. But let's take Barkley at 5. Try it out. I'm not going to draft a ton of Barkley in any tournament. What am I at now? 3.5%, $55. So I don't do a ton of Barkley. Let's get a little different. Lamb at 7 is real nice, though. Let's get a little different and see where this goes. A little bit behind ADP for Barkley, obviously. Let's see what happens. And again, I don't draft Barkley much at all, but the earliest I would take him is 5. So I'm happy with that. I would have Justin Jefferson ahead of Barkley. Maybe Gibbs instead. I don't know. Again, I'm going to even out my exposures to these guys, but I'll say I did have a bit of an affinity for Jahmyr Gibbs, but now I'm very concerned about that offensive line. As I've talked about many times on this channel, I'm very concerned about that offensive line. So we'll see. I'm still drafting him. I've definitely slowed down. He was my number 2 ranked player before the retirement of Frank Ragnow. I think that hurts that offensive line a massive amount. He still stays top 6 for me. I still have him ahead of Christian McCaffrey, but it's a lot closer. It's a lot closer. I won't be taking him at 2nd overall, and he's behind Bijan for sure. I had him ahead of Bijan. Now I have him below Bijan, and then we'll kind of take it from there. My top 3 is set in stone: Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson. From there, even it out a little bit, get your guys when it makes sense, and kind of take it from there. So should we go Barkley Bowers? Little weak 15 correlation. Bowers goes. Okay. Let's take Tyreek here. Let's go with the olds. Let's just take Tyreek here. I think he's fine there. I would have him ranked. I think I have him ranked ahead of Ladd. Or no, I have him just behind Ladd, but I'll have to correct that now that he's sliding up the board. Falcons playoff is absolutely very, very nice. I am very high on all the Falcons players this year. So 12% Bijan, which is pretty good for considering he's a first-round pick, top 3 pick, right? So that's pretty good exposure. I'm ahead of the game on him. 20% Drake London. I will not be any lower than 20% Drake London. Mooney's pretty high, 20% as well, and that's fine. I mean, I might pull back on that a little bit, down to like 16, 18%, but still pretty much double the field. Penix, double the field. Maybe not at quarterbacks. I think that's a little different, the 8%. Even Algier, 8%. Pitts, 12%. Ray, 3.5%. Give me some Ray McLeod. Yeah, I'm very high. They have the juiciest playoff schedule, in my opinion. The Falcons. I like them a lot. I like them a lot. A lot. This year. I'll probably take Chase Brown here because it's fun. Unless McBride's there. I feel pretty good about McBride in the 3rd. I mean, Chase Brown pairs up with my Tyreek a little bit, which is fun. Let's take Trey McBride, and this opens up taking the dreaded naked Joe Burrow. So he's definitely not naked. He would be a bring back to both Tyreek and McBride. Personally, I think that's entirely defensible. I think it's completely fine when you have those super high value pieces in the as the bring back to the offense, right? I've been doing that with more than just the Bengals. I've been doing that with a lot of teams, specifically the Vikings and Detroit game. I've been doing that a lot with that game as far as, let's say I get Amon-Ra and Laporta or something like that, which is relatively difficult to get actually. But let's say I get Amon-Ra and Laporta, and then I have Addison, Jordan Addison, or not even Addison. Let's say I have Amon-Ra and Laporta, or Amon-Ra, Jameson, Laporta, something like that. And then I just take JJ McCarthy as the bring back in that game stack. So, yeah, Bo Nix is another good one, right? Especially like when we're leaning in. I'm not particularly leaned in on the JJ McCarthy has too much rushing upside, but I get it. I get that conversation, so I can lean in on it when it makes sense for my build. But Bo Nix is another one where you have a little bit of rushing upside, and there's no like, I mean, Justin Jefferson obviously is a super high value piece, but other than that, I mean, I do not think that it's going to be tough for a lot of the Vikings, even Justin Jefferson, to pay off their ADP. So we'll see how that lines up. Man, do I take Kittle here? That's weird. It's weird. Let's take James Cook and just lean in on that week 17 matchup with Barkley. Let's do that. Over Kittle. That'd be interesting to take Kittle here, though. A little bit of value, but nothing major. And just bully tight end situation. I have a hard time doing that. So let's just do that. But yeah, Bo Nix is an option, or same thing on the Viking side. Let's say you have Justin Jefferson and Jameson Williams and Hawkinson, then take Goff. You do want one pass catcher when it's Goff because he's very limited mobily. I think Joe Burrow has a little bit more run to him than, let's say Jared Goff, obviously. So I think Joe Burrow can run one in, sort of thing, like we just talked about earlier in the show. But I think it's completely defensible to take Joe Burrow naked when you have these high value pieces week 16 and week 17 against the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll see how that works out. We could really lean in on it, and I can take Zay Flowers here, which actually makes a lot of sense if Pickens probably isn't there. I'll take Pickens over Flowers, but there's another Cincinnati bringback, high value bringback. So that might be what we do. Obviously, I'm not going to pull Joe Burrow up the board. I would take him at 68, and he's still there. So the T. Higgins and Jamar Chase drafters didn't take him. So they're both going to be upset with me and say I'm an idiot for doing it. But it actually makes a ton of sense. So that's what we're going to do. As long as this guy doesn't take Zay, which he doesn't. If Burrow's on the board at 68, I'm going to take him. And that's a fun way to build, if you ask me. It's a fun way to get a little bit different, and it makes a lot of sense. If you're telling me it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't. I think it makes sense. I think it's completely defensible, and I think it's a fun way to get different. If we think that Joe Burrow's elite, which I absolutely do, then yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. Looks like Joe Burrow's ADP is moving back up too, by the way. It was down to 62, I believe, something in the 62s. Now it's pushed back up to 61. I've seen some people take him at the 4-5 turn, 48, 49, when they're just locking in that stack with Chase, Higgins, McBride, or Marv, or Chase Brown in there, something like that. Then they're just locking it in, which is fair too. I think that that's a fine strategy as well. I do that sometimes also. If I'm just banking in and leaning into that week 17 game, then I just take Joe Burrow sometimes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But we'll see if Joe Burrow even makes it to me, because with all these badge lists, I'm pretty confident that someone here is going to take Joe Burrow. One of these badge lists. This guy, maybe not with Lamar, but you never know. This guy could definitely take him, though he looks pretty bought into this Rams-Atlanta situation. Josh Allen probably shouldn't, but you never know. This guy's not doing anything particularly. He probably takes Joe Burrow right here. If not, the Chase Brown drafter definitely takes him. So don't anticipate Joe Burrow making it back to me. I really don't. So where do we go from there? Wide receivers definitely on the menu. Roma Dunze would be at the top of the list. There he goes. Wow, if this guy doesn't take Joe Burrow, yeah, I'd be shocked. Jeez, that would have been fun. That would have been really fun. Not too leaned in on these wide receivers. Let's get some boom bust action in our running back room. Let's get Travion Henderson. Pairs up with Zay week 16. Sure. That's not really the reason I'm taking him, but pairs up with Buffalo as well. That's cool. That's a nice little tiebreaker. I didn't even notice. I did notice the Baltimore, but I didn't notice the Buffalo, but that's nice. That helps. Makes me feel better. Would have been really cool if Joe Burrow made it to us. That would have been a fun, different way to build. It would have been an auto click for me. I don't really like this running back situation or wide receiver, situation, but I guess I take some falling value on either Godwin or Debo. Definitely Godwin makes a ton of sense. If he falls to me, I will take him. If not, then what? I take another running back, I guess. Do I pull up someone like Downs? Do I just take Debo? Do I just take fat Debo? I think I do. I mean, let's take fat Debo. Pairs up with Barkley week 16, I guess. I just can't quit Debo a little bit. I got some value. I need a little wide receiver help here. It's either that or like bring up Josh Downs, which is fine. It's just, or I just take another running back, and it would have been DeAndre Swift. But what does that really do to me? How does that really help me? I don't really see how it does personally. So, yeah. Yeah. All the QBs are getting pushed up. That's why it's critical to draft earlier on. I would agree with that. I'm kind of wishing I had more Best Ball Manias done already. I'm 49 in right now. So I'm about a third of the way. I've been following along kind of with fail rate for Best Ball Mania, but I kind of wish I had like 75 in right now. So I might just sort of power draft Best Ball Mania, I guess, which is tough when I'm trying to get these puppy reps in. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So I do agree. I do agree. As the summer goes on, as the casuals come in, running backs will get pushed up. Quarterbacks will get pushed up. Yeah. Quarterbacks for sure. So, yeah. I definitely agree with you there, Ant. 3 QB Sims Summer. I am trying to, as we've seen so far tonight, I am trying to zag on that very, very heavily. I've made it very known that I am going to be anti-3 quarterback as much as humanly possible. That's something that I'm fully bought in on. I'm just going to take Kyler here, pair him up with McBride, make it easy. I need a Cincinnati piece, obviously, to pair up with everything, everything that I have. So that's nice. It's a week 17 bring back. Anyways, it's probably going to be Yoshi Boss, but yeah, back to this. I'm super anti 3 quarterback. Like, yeah, it'll help your advance rate, but I really don't think it gives you that top end week to like potential point total week to week potential point total. Jeez. I don't think it gives you that. Yeah, it helps you advance. Yeah. I get all the bull cases. I just kind of disagree on it. I really do. But I get it. I get it. Like, I'm just drafting like I'm right. And I'm going to keep drafting like I'm right. And we'll see what happens. Let the chips fall where they may kind of situation. Still might be a 3 quarterback build regardless. Let's do Fields with the Henderson already on the team. A couple rushing quarterbacks. I like that. I might have to take a 3rd quarterback though. Someone like Tua makes sense on this in this quarterback room. The beauty is I can stop at 2 tight ends, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm trying to be as much 2 tight end, 2 quarterback as possible. I think like And again, advance rate, I'm not worried. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win all the money at the end. I really am. Like, advance rate is fun and nice and cool, and you can feel good about yourself, I guess. But like, I'd much rather win the tournament than have a high advance rate. So yeah, I'm going to zag when everyone else is zigging on that 3 quarterback build right now. Debo Fitz underdog scoring fall in the end zone. I agree. That's kind of why I can't quit him. Like, he just gets too much rushing. But like, there's too much rushing potential, especially in this offense. Like, they did nothing at running back when everybody thought that they would draft a running back. And I don't care about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. I really don't. 7th round pick, might not even make this team. I'm not drafting Krosky Merritt personally at all. They still have Jeremy McNichols, who we know they like. They still have Chris Rodriguez, who we know they like, as well as obviously Eckler and Brian Robinson. So I'm not drafting any Krosky Merritt, but the fact that they didn't draft anybody leads me to believe that Debo is going to have some rushing potential in this offense. So I'm leaning in on that. And that's kind of why I'm way above the field on Debo. I have a hard time just quitting him. You know, he's built like a running back, so give him the ball in the running game. Give him 100 carries. Fuck it. Like, if we're only going to give Brian Robinson, like, what is it, 190 or something like that? Yeah, 187, 178, like 200 his rookie year when he was shot. The years where he was healthy, he gets less carries. If we're only going to give Brian Robinson, who's the starter, 190 carries, give Debo 100 carries. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of leaned in on. We'll see how that works out for me. But I mean, I'm not going to be overexposed to Debo, but I do want my shares. Like, I do. I think it's the rushing upside that I think he does have, if I'm being honest. Could be wrong on that one, but it's not going to kill me if I am. I think Burden makes a lot of sense here, even though Kirk could really make some sense for us. Let's lean in that Kirk is potentially still there, ADP-wise. Let's go Burden. Get a fun, hopefully a fun rookie. I'm not a big Burden guy personally, but right at ADP in this room, in this wide receiver texture, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. It'll be an auto click for Christian Kirk if he's still there. Other than that, it's pretty slim pickings. And I think I just avoid this area for wide receivers. If it's not Christian Kirk, I think I just go with maybe Tyler Warren again. or Tucker Kraft is fine by me. Najee would be a good click for me here. We'll see. We'll see who's there. Said it before, but I cringe when I have to take 3 QBs. I kind of do as well. I mean, if it's just necessary, it's necessary. It is what it is, Like, again, quarterbacks are being pushed up. So, yeah, in this is a room where it might just be necessary. Like Kyler and Fields, can you just lean in on that? Yeah, you can. Do you feel super comfortable about it? I don't particularly. So I think I'll have to take a third. And a guy like Tua makes a ton of sense for this room. Like Tua, Aaron Rodgers, something like that. Just like a vet that, doesn't have to be a rushing upside guy at all. And Kirk falls to us, so that's an auto click. That feels good. Brings back our Arizona as well. That's fun. That's a fun one. So, yeah, you don't have to take a lot of, risk. It can just be a pocket passer, whatever kind of guy. What's your take on the Bears and Caleb? I'm super bullish. Super, super, super bullish. Rome Odunze is my guy there. I need a little more DJ Moore. As bullish, I'm 25% Rome Odunze, probably my highest drafted wide receiver. Massive Rome Odunze guy. 18% Caleb. He's probably my highest drafted quarterback. He was my highest dollar value in the big board pre-draft season. He was my highest dollar value player, period. So I invested the most amount of money over my entire exposure in Caleb Williams in pre-draft best ball drafts, which is pretty uncommon considering it's typically always a running back or a wide receiver. It was a quarterback and it was Caleb Williams for me. Little less bullish on Burden, a little less bullish on DeAndre Swift, but I would like to bump up the Swift numbers, bump up the DJ Moore numbers. I even take a little bit of Cole Kmet, 1.5%. So if it makes sense for a 3 tight end room and he's all that's left, I'll take Cole Kmet. I think he's still got room to do, to have a role in that offense. But very, 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 very bullish on the Bears this year. I already bet them months ago. Actually, the same day, hours after, let's make this pick, and then I will finish up that conversation. Might just be Bayshall here. Do I just take Mims for some upside 10 picks, or do we just go Bayshall Tootin? Let's go Bayshall Tootin. On the same day that the Bears signed Grady Jarrett, which was also the same day that the Atlanta Falcons cut him. So the Falcons cut Grady Jarrett. He was available for all of 15 minutes probably. And then he signed with the Chicago Bears. That same day, I bet the Chicago Bears to win the division at, I think, 7-1. I parlayed it with a couple other things that I thought were pretty viable. But yeah, very bearish, very bullish on the Bears. There we go. Very bullish on the Bears, I am. So there you go. There's my take. Very, very bullish. If Mims is there, I'll fall on that sword, I guess. Sure. If not, it's going to be Liggett. I don't 2.5% Mims, but if he's there 20 picks past ADP, then sure. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Sure, why not? He's fun. Lets me catch up a little bit at wide receiver. I can go 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 2 tight ends, and 8 wide receivers is the likely build here. Tua's still there, so I could take Tua. I really don't care who my 3rd quarterback is going to be. Doesn't have to be stacked. It's just a chaperone to help get me there. Definitely not week 8. Don't want week 9 either, but don't want it to be week 8 or 9. So, I don't even care if I snipe somebody. Might be Geno. Might be Bryce Young. I'll take Tua if he's there, obviously. I don't love Cam Ward, but sure. I don't think Cam Ward makes sense in this texture of a 3 quarterback room. Darnold, I don't want. Aaron Rodgers, I'll take for sure. Daniel Jones, I'll take in this room. Yeah, we got a lot of options. I don't think anyone would particularly want to draft Tua, so he might fall into our laps. We'll see. But if it's not Tua, then it's definitely Bryce Young. What's shocking is these quarterbacks now are falling when others were getting pulled up the board earlier in this same draft. Usually they all just get pulled up the board. So that's interesting. Geno's off the board. He's week 8. I don't want that. I don't want to overlap. It just doesn't make sense. These guys only have 1 quarterback each. There goes Cam Ward. There goes Bryce Young. And there goes probably Darnold, even though he might wait on him. This guy takes Tua. No, okay. Bryce Young would have been the correct click there. All right, we're getting one of these guys. Cool. Let's take Tua. Perfect. We pushed him, and it worked out. Love it. That's fun. Done at quarterback. I don't really think Mike Gesicki makes sense. But I guess he does. I guess he does. I don't like taking the 2 tight ends in the same game, especially when it's week 17. That's a weird. If I'm rooting for that in week 17, I think I got bigger problems. Jalen Wright could have made some sense there. Gesicki goes. I'm kind of happy about that, to be honest with you. I didn't want to have to kind of take Gesicki. I guess I don't have to, but I think it would have made sense. Let's just bring in Cade Otton here. He's my highest drafted tight end, and it makes sense with Miami stack week 17. Let's do it. He's the best tight end option left on the board, and I would put him ahead of some of the guys that go ahead of him. So let's go Cade Otton. Done at tight end. Wide receiver and running back. We should have 3 more picks, and we do. Ben Haskell, what's happening, man? Appreciate you popping in. If you're still kicking it, hit that like button for me, guys, if you don't mind. If you're new to the channel, you like the content, hit the subscribe button. Costs you nothing, helps me out. We're on the road to 600. We're only about 7 away from 600 last I checked. Hopefully it's less than that now, but we're getting there. We're almost there, almost at 600. The goal would be, I don't think it's going to happen. The goal would be 1,000 by the start of the season, but that's just unlikely. Let's not make promises we can't keep. So that would be the goal. That would be the hope. But appreciate you guys coming in, drafting with me, hanging out, talking in the chat. DQ, Putt Daddy. Appreciate you guys. Ant, CBK. Appreciate you guys popping in tonight. So we're going to go 1 running back, 2 wide receivers to wrap up this squad. I like this team, actually. I actually like this team. I didn't think it was going to turn out very good at all, but it kind of worked out for us. We're a little on the top heavy side as far as just Tyreek, and then our next is, Zay. That's a little concerning, but that's what's going to happen when you get this balanced type of a build when you're drafting a tight end early. It's going to affect. I mean, if you go wide receiver, and then tight end, then obviously you're probably fine. But, I took a running back, took a wide receiver, took a tight end. It's going to be balanced, but it's also going to be thin somewhere. And it's relatively thin at wide receiver, though I think we did kind of land the plane. I think we're fine for sure, especially getting the value on Mims. A couple picks on Debo feels good. So, yeah, and then we can kind of get an extra free selection at wide receiver due to taking Trey McBride, which feels good. Definitely feels good. There's no wide receivers that I feel like I need. So let's bring in DJ Giddens to wrap up this running back room. I like that. I love me some DJ Giddens. 26%. So it's definitely Brashard Smith, then DJ Giddens as far as my top 2 exposed players. And then 2 wide receivers to wrap this up, and we're going to get out of here. Yeah. Fun draft, fun stream. Appreciate you. I like these teams today, actually. Yeah. Sometimes I draft teams and I'm like, man, I wish this was a BBM and not a whatever draft. So Puppy 2s, obviously, tonight. We're going to rip a few more. I might do a Best Ball Mania before the night's over. Not on stream, obviously. Once we're done, I'm probably going to rip a Best Ball Mania. I got to go do some taping for our paint job that we're doing on one of the rooms here, the baby room. So I'm going to go do that after this, which I'm so excited for. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. But that's how she goes. Yoshi Boss, obviously. That's our Cincinnati piece. Bring back on a couple of our Miami and our Arizona. So that feels good. I like Yoshi Boss. Very highly exposed to him as well. 1 more wide receiver, and then we're going to call this a night. Yeah. That would help. This would definitely help this team. Same thing with Marvin Mims. We need him to have a somewhat full-time role, and then that really helps out this wide receiver room. Obviously, Christian Kirk's got to stay healthy. Burden's got to, not be a bit of a head case. Devo's got to get 100 carries. There's a lot of ifs and buts with this. Tyreek has got some question marks, though I'm very high on Tyreek personally, considering his ADP and his cost this year. But I think we built a fun team. I could honestly say every team we built tonight has a shot. Sometimes you build dead teams. I've definitely done it on stream more than once. If you guys watch the show a lot, you know you can't win them all. You can't build a winner shipper every time. That's for sure. You're going to have some duds. You're going to have some teams that you absolutely despise. And I've done it many, many times on stream. But tonight, I think we did pretty well. I think we drafted 3 quality squads that all give themselves a chance to win some money. You never know. You never know. Puppy would be a fun one to win. The Puppy 2. That'd be a fun one to win. Where are we going from here? Do I need to avoid any bye weeks? Bye week 12, I should probably avoid. Got 3 on bye week 12 right now. I should probably look elsewhere, but I don't think there's any bye week 12s that I'd be looking at right now anyways. Do we have any bring back action that we'd want to get? Not really. Not really that we don't have already. I guess we could do Pittsburgh with Miami, but yeah. Roman Wilson feels gross, and he just went anyways. Oh, we're on the clock. Should probably pay attention to that. Let's do Tesla then. Bye week 8 is fine. Let's do Isaac Tesla in an 8 wide receiver room. I like taking some shares of the wide receiver 3 for the Detroit Lions. Let's do that. Fun team. I like this one. Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, Tua Tagovailoa, Saquon Barkley, James Cook, Trevion Henderson, Bashal Tootin, DJ Giddens. That's a fun room. Tyreek Hill, Zay Flowers, Deebo Samuel, Luther Burden, Christian Kirk, Marvin Mims, Andre Yoshivas, Isaac Tesla, Trey McBride, and Kate Otten. I like it. A lot of correlation, a lot of stacks, bringbacks. This is a fun team. This is a fun one. Gave ourselves a shot, and that's all you can ask for. We're going to wrap it up. We'll be back. If not, it won't be Friday. I've got a golf thing with some buddies on Friday, so it won't be Friday. Maybe tomorrow, but I got to put some work into the baby room, so probably not tomorrow. Probably on the weekend, we'll be going live. Call it Saturday evening. We'll be going live and rip some drafts. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm going live. I do post it on Twitter as well, so follow along on Twitter. We're on the road to 1K followers on Twitter, so follow me over there if you don't mind. Hit that like button on your way out, and like we always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we're right. We win the Puppy 2. Have yourself a